Hey folks, welcome to Fresh Produce. I'm Pete from BTI. All right, if you haven't heard yet, we've got a big announcement. BTI has SRAM on the shelf. We've got a ton of parts in stock now, and we're going to continue adding different SKUs as we go through the spring and summer. Make sure you hit up our reps. Make sure you hit up our inside sales guys. Let them know what parts you want to see on the shelf as we're still building out the whole catalog. We've tried to feature a whole bunch of the most in-demand things that are going to make it onto your bikes, help with all those shop repairs, and that sort of thing. So diving right into a new launch that just took place recently, we've got the new SRAM Maven brakes. I want to talk about a couple of the tech features that really set these apart. There's been tons of kind of ads out there already and all kinds of other media, but just running through some of the differences to highlight between the different levels of brakes too, I think will be helpful for folks. So starting right off with the overall features, the Maven features a 19.5 and an 18 millimeter piston. So that's significantly bigger than the old Code brakes, which were pretty well respected on the downhill circuit. But Codes had 15 and 16 millimeter pistons. So this is a much bigger piston, both front and rear in this 4-piston caliper. And to go along with that, you've got a bigger master cylinder that's kind of tuned to those piston sizes. So you're moving the right ratio of oil per lever stroke. The other really important point, SRAM is really pushing the idea of your brake caliper not just needing to dissipate heat as fast as possible, because they're actually saying a lot of big temperature changes in the caliper can be detrimental to your brake performance. So in this Maven, they've just made a huge chunk of metal. Like, yeah, they're heavy, no doubt about it. If you're running a downhill brake, you're probably not that worried about it. But the idea with all this metal in here is that it's going to be a much more stable with heat. It'll come up to higher heat slower and then stay there a little bit longer without big fluctuations. So this is going to just help the pads work better, the pistons work better inside. Speaking of pistons, they're using a really special piston seal. And another big step on these brakes, we're actually onto a mineral oil brake system from SRAM. So some of the changes with heat management and those piston seals are pushing them over to that direction, and it should be a lot easier and kind of cleaner and safer for shops to work with mineral oil too. So, all right, moving right along. Another big change here is they're using 4 huge bolts to hold the caliper together. The idea here is to limit the flex as much as possible. They say that in Codes and any other brake on the market that has some flex, it's really noticeable feel at the caliper lever. And if you measure brakes under high load, they're really flexing a lot more than we might expect, even a 1-piece caliper. So these big 4 bolts are going to hold the brake in its shape a lot better and really transmit that power in an ideal way. All right, I think that's the main deal. So one thing to point out here on the Ultimate level brakes on Codes and some of the other models, they're going to a carbon lever, but on this downhill brake, even at the Ultimate, you're getting a metal lever. They also are running titanium bolts to lower that weight just a little bit in the caliper side, and then just overall the finish is super nice with polish on these Ultimates. With Ultimate, you get both lever position toolless adjustment and pad contact toolless adjustment. So you can really dial these things in. When you're looking at the silver level brakes, still getting the same toolless adjustments, but you do not get the titanium bolts. So that's the main difference here. I think the silver is going to be an excellent option for the vast majority of us out there. These are heavy brakes no matter what, so some titanium bolts aren't going to make a huge difference. These are the ones I would go with myself. I do kind of chuckle when it's called the silver brake, but it's black, right? Weird, but that's just part of the SRAM naming convention these days, so we'll live with it. Going on down to the bronze edition, not bronze, of course, but a nice looking gray. This one loses the pad contact adjustment, but you still get the toolless lever adjustment. So again, a really great price point option, tons of power. I think this is going to work for the vast majority of people super well. All right, with this brake, they have a new brake pad shape. It's available in 2 compounds, just an organic and a metallic. They're really saying the organic, if you're in dry conditions, is going to work super well. It might not last as long, but it works better at the beginning of its heat cycle, so you don't have to get them up to a high heat the same way you might for a metallic brake pad. If you are dealing with just super prolonged braking cycles or wet or muddy conditions, that's where that metallic pad is going to work a little bit better. So I invite people to play around with the different pad compounds. They're also suggesting that these have so much power, everybody should be starting with the smallest rotor that fits on your bike. So try out a couple of different rotor sizes, get a good bed-in process with each of the rotors that you're trying. And these brakes are exciting. They're, I think, a big step outside of what SRAM's been doing, and I think going to bring a ton of performance to a lot of riders out there. If you want to check out these brakes and try them on your own bike, make sure you ask at your local bike shop. Tell them BTI sent you. Thanks for watching.